I think the key to connect the performance, which really for me is actually, have you got the confidence? Are you certain? Do you have some kind of structure? Can you lead the conversation? Are you able to be really present in the moment so that you can listen out, so that you can then diagnose, okay, this is a problem. This is what I know I can help with. I can see the gap. And can I explain how I'm going to help get that person from where they're stuck to where they want to be in a way that's going to really resonate with them?
Three Founders Walk Into the podcast where you never know where you'll end up.
I'm Helen Wingrove-Sanders from Halfback. That's hiring for and building awesome companies. I'm one founder.
I'm Emma Campbell from The Sea Point. I'm the other.
And together we're the two. And every week, one of us invites a founder the other one's never met, in theory. Actually, in practicality, that's not going to be the case today because you have met this person for about 2 hours. So you don't know them well. So they're the one. 3 founders, 2 hosts, 1 guest, and none of us knows where we're going. That's the fundamental part of today's conversation. Our guest doesn't just join the conversation, they choose where we've walked into. 3 founders walk into a ... It works really nicely as a format. So we've had a bar in Venice Beach in LA. We've had a pier in Essex, Southend-on-Sea. We've been up a mountain around a campfire, lovely cup of tea. We've been in a sauna on a beach. We've been, not Hampstead, what was the hill in London that we've been up? Greenwich. We've been in lots of. So who knows where we're going to end up today? We've got 3 questions and the rest, that's just whatever happens when 3 founders sit down and get honest. And this week, as we always say, I've invited someone that I think you'll really like. So let me tell you about them. Today we're joined by Lisa Yelland. So that name will ring a bell for you, and it will ring a bell for people in Bristol who've been along to the Catalyst Her events that are backed by the BIPC in Bristol. We've relaunched that event this year, and our first relaunched event, you were one of our panelists.
What?
Didn't have much time to spend with Lisa. We had loads of brilliant women there, pre-founding their own business, founders, as well as people who have exited and started a new business. So that's really cool. I didn't know Lisa very well before then. I knew her in the Bristol scene in terms of entrepreneurs and founders, but didn't know her all that well. She's a sales consultant and she's a trainer with a lot, decades in the business, essentially. She cut her teeth in a call center at 20 and she loved it. I can't say that for everyone who's worked with her. Exactly. She then went on to become the top salesperson in Europe in her corporate role. And over the last few years, she has personally closed over 1.7 million in high ticket sales for some of the biggest names in online coaching. So that is no mean feat. What I love about her is that, I don't know about you, but sales can feel a bit icky at times.
Mm-hmm.
It can feel a bit
formative.
Yes. And what she does is she coaches and helps people learn founders essentially, learn how to do sales without feeling that performativeness. She's not sleazy. She's not a wide boy, as it were, if you use the language from years ago. Shall I go and get her? She's walked in.
Yes.
Here she is now. So I have broken our little promise to ourselves that you two won't know each other. But I don't think we do know each other that well. You just spent a few hours together at Catalyst Her.
Yeah, I wouldn't say we know each other. No. We have met once.
Yeah. We shared space.
Yes. There you go. So Lisa meet Emma, Emma meet Lisa.
Very lovely to meet you.
We are 3 founders and we've walked into a ... Lisa, where are we?
We are in a beautiful castle.
Yeah.
This one is super, super old, as all real excellent castles are. So it's intact. It's not a ruin. But it could do with a little work, but that just adds to the ambience. And picture, if you will, it could be my favourite castle, which is Warwick. I don't know if you've been there, Warwick Castle.
Yeah.
Okay, great. What about you, Emma? Have you been there?
I've
been. You've both been. Have you been, Helen? Yeah. Okay. So we could sit with Warwick, but we could also go with Berkeley. Berkeley's another favourite of mine.
I know Berkeley Castle very well.
Yes, featured on many, many TV shows. And even closer to home is Farley Hungerford. I feel a special connection with that as well. So imagine an amazing Warwick Castle, Berkeley Castle or Farley.
And are we there alone? Is it just the 3 of us?
It's the 3 of us there, and we are just walking into the Great Hall is often, as you walk through the corridor, and there is the amazing Great Hall, a beautiful, expansive space. There's a big table, there's a roaring fire, and we are just there soaking up all of that amazing energy and tuning into the frequency of the people that have gone before.
Oh, I can
So
feel it.
is that the history side that you really like? Is it the atmosphere? What is it about a castle that and this castle that we're in specifically?
Mm.
So you're saying it could be anyone that we like, but is it an imaginative one in your head? I mean, obviously you're kind of painting a picture for us, but is this a specific one in your head?
For me, it is specific. I love Warwick. There's a real special connection for
Okay.
me. I think I've just had so many lovely days out there, but whenever I go into any castle, I have the same feeling, this feeling of connection, this feeling of nostalgia, this feeling of coming home. And
Ooh.
for me, what I love, I mean, I'm a history buff. I love everything about history.
Okay.
I love it. I really geek out on all of this kind of stuff. But for me, the most interesting part is the buildings, but the connection to the people that were in the buildings. So I love to imagine the conversations that they've had and the decisions they had to make and the power struggles and the fears and the dreams and the hopes and just the daily minutiae of what goes on that's not actually so different from what we are dealing with daily in 2026.
And you taking us there and describing all of that, and then saying about the connection to people that have come before, in those walls of a castle, you feel that, don't you? You actually can feel the history, as opposed to walking into someone's home. You might be able to feel energy, positive, negative, or anywhere in between. But in a
Yeah.
castle, there is something within those walls that just, there's a vibe.
There's like a whisper thing, isn't there? It kind of feels like there's something going on.
There is. And I went to a really interesting talk once by a guy's name was Richard. I forget his surname, but he was doing a talk about bricks and how actually bricks and stone can record conversations. They record a frequency. And so it actually does that. The stone, certain types of stone, do emit something. So yes, there's an energy thing, of course, and obviously with all of the old things in there, and often there's artifacts, and there's a lovely person telling you stories about the people and the things that are in the room. But I find that really fascinating, actually, and that was about Berkeley Castle. That's where he did that talk. But he spoke about the brick and the stone and actually what can be emitted from that, and you can measure it and everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'd never thought about the actual building itself holding the energy.
Yeah.
Of course it would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think,
Wow.
have you been to Berkeley Castle, Helen?
I haven't. I know it's on the outskirts. It's South Gloucestershire, right?
Well,
Hmm.
yeah.
So I worked there for a while.
No.
Emma.
Yeah.
My God. That's
Actually, no,
amazing.
so they had the gates redone as well. I know the guy who made the big wooden gates. Like I know the guy who made those. So so it is a really neat place. So I sometimes work for or with a caterer, and they do a lot of weddings and stuff. And so I was there for a little bit. It's so bizarre walking in to a castle on your kind of daily, just going to work.
That would be my
To a
absolute dream. That would be my absolute dream. How fascinating. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that. I mean, we were considering getting married there for various
Yeah.
reasons. We didn't, but can you imagine? I think they hold banquets and stuff. Maybe it could be
They do.
a special
And the
celebration.
weddings are beautiful. Like they're so grand, and they've got like I was listening to a bride yesterday, in fact, because anyway, and they were talking about having a choir in the minstrels gallery
Yeah.
in the main hall.
Yeah. Wow.
So yeah, it's all that stuff. But I mean, and it's so kind of evocative, isn't it, of that kind of whimsical but beautiful, and it's just and the sound and the acoustics and all that stuff. It's a really neat spot. It's a really cool one. So that's interesting that you've picked that.
That's really weird as that connection. That's so strange. Do you know the other thing I think about with castles as well is if I came to you now and I was a multimillionaire and I said, "Hey, I'm going to build a castle," you would think I was completely bonkers.
Yeah.
You know, if you think about architects now,
I wouldn't. I'd be like,
you wouldn't. You'd love it.
absolutely.
You'd be like,
Great
sign me
idea.
up. But I think that if you look at modern architecture and
Yeah.
technology of buildings now, they're not building castles.
No.
Do you know? Which
Yeah.
is kind of
Well,
we are building a version of castles, obviously.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
It's an interesting one, isn't it? That back then, you'd think that was the hardest thing to do because they're not bricks and they're not house bricks, are they? This big that you can just pick up in a hand. These are,
No,
yeah,
big hewn things. So another thing is, so I've got a friend in South Africa and they built themselves a castle.
stop it.
They've got this
You've got
piece
a
of
best
land and
friend ever.
they've built on this bit of land and they've built this castle. And you know, when you're kind of looking at him, you're like, really? Are you really built? Yes, he's absolutely built a castle. And he's like put a dragon on the top of the castle. Like he's got this kind of piece of art that's like a dragon that's on the roof. I'll fish out some photos.
Yeah,
But yeah.
I would love to see that.
So people do build castles. It's
They
not
do.
completely.
I wonder what his motivator was behind that. Whether has he got a love of castles or
Architecture. Yeah,
yeah,
he's actually a lawyer, but he always wanted to be an architect and but kind of went into law instead. So he built the house that he was living in, and then was building this kind of castle as a bit of a
no.
yeah, like a family legacy, I guess. But like beautiful. Yeah, yeah. I suppose that's the thing. That is what a castle is, isn't it? It's a legacy. It's thinking of something. So in your kind of love of history, does that cross over into what you do, or is what you do completely different?
Does it cross over? Well, there's going to be some themes. Absolutely, there will be some common threads, and I have been racking my brains over the years to see if there is something a bit more obvious that maybe I could do with history and sales. I mean, I don't quite know what the link is. It's not immediately obvious to me, but I think where the commonality is around the people and the conversations and my natural curiosity around that and understanding people's drivers and their motivators and why they did the things that they did, because history, I guess, is written and rewritten over and over again, and it changes. So our view of a point in time now is actually going to change. I know maybe next week, maybe next month, maybe in 10 years' time, because we're always discovering something new from somebody else's perspective. And I think from a people point of view, that for me is the commonality there, I guess. People are very interesting. You meet them at a certain point in time, depending on where they're at, their perception, their perspective on something, that's going to affect how they receive the information, how open they are to exploring a different pathway or change. And then do they have the courage to take action on that? So I think maybe my view of history through the eyes of somebody that is just really naturally curious about people is the theme when it comes to sales.
Mm. And actually, in my intro with Emma, I said something about, sales can feel a bit, or even sales training can feel a bit icky. What was the
Yeah.
word?
Sorry, say that again,
Performative.
Helen.
So Emma said performative. Sales can be performative, can't it? And yet, as founders, we all have to get our shit together
Yeah.
and do sales.
Yeah.
Fundamentally,
Yeah.
most founders have to build, deliver, and sell the damn thing. Otherwise, you don't have a business. You just have a very expensive hobby.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how do you? Because your natural curiosity of history, and I'm trying to link it to that, because how you came alive, describing where we are in this castle and what we're feeling and who we're there with and the banquet and all this and the fire, that to me, you were selling it to me without selling it to me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So I think it's going to depend how you interpret the word performance. So often I think when people think about performing, they feel like they have to step into a different version of themselves or become somebody that they're not. And then there's a disconnect actually between how they're showing up and what they're really feeling inside. And I think that can feel very performative, and that can create an invisible barrier between you and the person that you're speaking to. So I think the key to connect the performance, which really for me is actually, have you got the confidence? Are you certain? Do you have some kind of structure? Can you lead the conversation? Are you able to be really present in the moment so that you can listen out, so that you can then diagnose, okay, this is a problem. This is what I know I can help with. I can see the gap. And can I explain how I'm going to help get that person from where they're stuck to where they want to be in a way that's going to really resonate with them? So then the performance piece is really more about, for me, can you get clear on that? Can you approach it with that presence, with that clean energy where you're not looking to get something, you're actually looking to serve? and you can do it in a way that does feel aligned with you. So it actually isn't about being a different version or becoming somebody that you're not being salesy as such, but it is about upskilling in those areas of confidence and communication, but also connecting with that passion. Like you said, I'm selling you that image and that picture of a castle. Like, we all want to move into a castle. Let's go and visit a castle right now, because
Yeah.
I'm connected to that. That's coming from a genuine place. And
Yes.
for me, that's where sales is so easy and natural, when you're connected to, I really want to help, actually, and I have got a solution for you, and you've got the confidence to make an invitation, knowing that other person has full autonomy in saying yes or no. I think that's the difference for me. And then performance then means something different.
Yes.
Yeah. Does that make
It's
sense?
almost infectious, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like that, because the selling part, like it's not less about the decision. It's more about infecting somebody with the excitement, enthusiasm that you have
Yeah.
for what you're doing,
Yeah.
and knowing that can help that person.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, I think sales in its truest sense is the highest form of service, because what you're really opening somebody up to is the possibility of change, and then supporting them in being able to take that bold action in stepping into that alternative pathway. And that's what you're really engaging somebody in. So it's the enthusiasm and the connection to that, but also that certainty that you can really help. Because I think what can happen sometimes in some selling situations is there's a lot of smoke and mirrors. There's a lot of performance, which then may
Yes.
not translate into the actual goods. So the energy has to be there, the connection and that certainty, but also that confidence that you're going to be able to deliver on what you say. So yeah, it's about enrolling somebody in that possibility that things could be different. And here's the invitation, if you choose to walk this path with me.
And then if you are confident in your ability to have those types of conversations,
Mm.
where you go into that conversation knowing you used the word, you're enrolling people into that invitation
Yeah.
to say yes or no,
Yeah.
that if they say no, they are self-selecting based on you being your true self.
Yeah.
And if they say yes, they are in.
Yeah.
That's really
Absolutely.
nice.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're so much less likely then to get false yeses. And also that this is where performance really applies to sales conversations, actually, because in what I do in my business, I do a lot of closing for other companies. So I will be the person that will take a proper sales call, if you like. And what I found early on in me doing this is a new skill, and it is a skill. And I think as business owners, we're just naturally expected to be able to lead a conversation and to be able to explain what we do really clearly, and to say it with confidence and certainty, and be able to do the mental agility that's needed in the moment when somebody is not actually following a framework of a conversation the way that you've laid it out. Anyway, early on, when I started doing this for other companies, I did notice a trend that people would say yes and they would be engaged and they did want the thing. And they would say yes, but then you wouldn't hear anything after, and there would be no action. There would be ghosting. I'm sure we're all familiar with that term. And what I realized is that there was some performance going on, not by me, but by the other person, because they wanted to please me. They wanted to agree with what I was saying. And
Yeah.
what I then learned and understood is that I wasn't going deep enough into the reality of what's really going on for them, because often what somebody says is not necessarily the truth. And you can only get to that point if you are really present in the moment, that you are not focusing on what you can get out of it. Am I going to make a sale or not? Do I need the sale or not? So that you can notice those nuances, that body language, the hesitation, the leaning back, or the whatever it might be. You can only do that and then ask the next question to uncover what's really going on, so that you can avoid that performance by that lovely person on the other side of the phone or Zoom, because they just want to say the right thing and they want this, but something is stopping them. And often it's fear it's not going to work, or fear that they can't actually do it and it's not going to work for them. But if you don't uncover that in the conversation, you're not serving that person to the highest level, because they're not going to come away clear. And that's what we want. We want that clarity for them. Yes or a no. Feel really empowered in that.
I
So
love
I'm
that
writing
thing
all this down. Hang on a minute. Enrolling, serving them. These are all terms I've done as a recruiter
Yeah.
with how to sell
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
As dodgy as anything. But I've never heard anyone with your background talk about enrolling and serving in this way related to sales. So keep talking, mainly because it's free training for us. So thank you. But also there'll be someone listening that has not heard that language either. So this will start resonating with them and then help them serve the people that they need to serve as well, which is awesome. Go on, Em, you were going to ask something.
No, I'm very much in the same kind of vein, like enrolling somebody in the sales as an invitation to take that journey with you. So it's not like that's, it's an invitation, and whether people, kind of take you up on that and walk alongside you is one thing, which I really like the idea of, because it's not forced, it's an invitation, it's consensual, it's like this is how we're moving forward. And the other people is that the other thing that you said about the person that you're speaking to wanting to please you, really. And I know that happens.
Yeah.
I've had a really funny conversation with a friend of mine in a supermarket, not a supermarket, like a department store. And they got completely fleeced into buying this incredibly expensive skincare product because they really liked the person who was selling it and didn't want them to think that they were going to say no because they couldn't afford it. So they just kept on going and ended up with like hundreds of pounds worth of skincare. And, it was good, but it probably wasn't something they, should have gone ahead with for whatever reason. But how many people get into that situation, into that people pleasing? Like,
I am so easy to be sold to.
I love
honestly.
being sold to. I love
Do you
it.
love it? Do you get
love it.
remorse though? Because like if that, you could have been describing you and me in a department store, me buying the expensive skincare. I'd be like, oh my God, they're doing such a great job.
Yeah.
And especially if they're women as well and they're selling at me and to me and with me, inviting me to go on a journey with them for my skin. Yes, please.
Yeah.
But then the connection to the product afterwards, knowing that I've just spent, however, you said hundreds of pounds worth, would I actually get the benefit? Because then I'd have buyer's remorse. I'd have to use it because I'd bought it. Would it work as well if I've got that remorse linked to that product? Probably not. I'd probably get frown lines from the angst that I have about spending that amount of money because I wouldn't want to not please the person that's doing the selling. So yeah, but interestingly, Lisa, you put your hand up as well when, you like being sold to. So tell me about that.
I love being sold to. And in fact, it annoys me when I'm not, because I want to be made to feel special. I want somebody to ask me questions about what my needs are. I want to feel like the solution that they are offering me is right for me. And if I don't get that attention, I mean, not for everything. Like if I go into the post office and I want some stamps, I am not bothered if the assistant is not trying to, go from second class to first class or sell me, a bigger book of stamps or something. But if I'm going into a store with the intention of actually I'm open to browsing and I might be open to buying some skincare or whatever else, I want some effort being put in by the person. Otherwise, I might as well just order it online from wherever. If I'm going into a store, if I'm engaging with a person or there's people there that I can speak to, I want to be approached. That's not to say I want somebody breathing down my neck, but I do want that attention because I want to know that what I'm buying is right for me. And just on the buyer's remorse thing, I think it's quite interesting because firstly, I am in full belief that that lovely lady that was selling the skincare is 100% certain that what you have bought is going to be amazing. And you do have the option of returning it as long as you haven't opened it. So you could always do that if you felt like you were just carried away in the moment. Most people probably wouldn't take it back. I mean, I wouldn't. I would just use it. In terms of, just want to make a point actually, just about who loves being sold to and who doesn't. What's a really good question to ask yourself around selling, just to see if there's any resistance coming up or really how you feel, is how do you like to be sold to? How do you like to buy? Because often the way that we like to buy is the way then that we sell. And that's great if you found a way that works for you, but you are also in doing that potentially leaving quite a lot of potential on the table from an analogy perspective, because people do make decisions in different ways. People sometimes like to, get caught up in the excitement and they make a decision and you're like, I'm just going to go for it. Other people are more reflective and they want to sleep on it. Some other people prefer to talk to every, person that they possibly know, including the cat and the milkman and the postman, all of that, to help with that reassurance in terms of that decision. So I think that's something we need to be aware of. And I think for anyone that feels resistant to being sold to, it's quite a fun exercise actually. And I do say this to my clients to encourage them to do this. Like go in and practice being sold to. You don't have to buy anything, but just experience what it's like when somebody is trying to engage you in a conversation. Because really that's what we're talking about here. How comfortable are we in engaging, going first with the conversation and then being able to lead it? Not necessarily to get something out of it, because detachment from the outcome is really key and it's really important, but to be open to a conversation, knowing that you can say no. And, herein lies the point, I feel. The performance piece, and not wanting to say no is the real thing for many people. And they don't want to say no. And so therefore that can stop them from being open to having a conversation about making a change. And so my role on a sales call, if I'm having a sales conversation with somebody, is to create that safety for them to feel relaxed enough so that we can have an honest conversation and create the opportunity for them to say no. And it's okay. Like, I'm going to be okay, whatever you decide. Like, it's not going to affect me at all. From a personal perspective, money, my value, nothing. It's going to have no impact on me on whatever. I am only focused on your decision, getting clarity on that, yes or no. So that's the key bit, is that creating that safety for that person, because for so many people, they're like, I don't want to say no. I don't want to say, but also I don't know if I want to say yes. Yeah.
This is like relationship advice.
It is. Yeah, it is.
You can say no. You don't have to buy the skincare. And to be in a safe enough place to say no is because I imagine that almost creates the thing where actually you really want to say yes because you can say no.
Exactly.
And you feel you can.
Yeah.
So then absolutely it's a yes, which is a weird counterintuitive.
Yeah. It helps create that clean energy between the two of you when you're having a conversation. That's okay.
And you talked about clean energy earlier about the castle as well.
Oh, yeah.
So clean, and so my definition of, not that I use the phrase clean energy, although I might start doing this, my definition of clean energy is solar panels on a roof, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's more green energy.
Never thought about it. And I'm in the people business, and I do talk about energy and vibrations and cells, and we do vibrate differently around different people and different food and different smells and all that sort of thing. Talk to me about clean energy in the environment of selling, because that's a really interesting piece that I'd love to dig into.
It is interesting. And I think it's probably the most important piece, I think, in selling. So by clean energy, I mean, from my perspective, is that I am detached from the outcome. So we've spoken about that a couple of times. Whether you say yes or no, I'm okay. It's not going to affect me. I'm not going to be emotionally triggered by anything that you say or do on this call. I mean, I don't say that, but this is my approach to the conversation. I'm not going to be triggered. Now, when I work with my clients, when I'm speaking to other people, other business owners, and we break down a sales call, because I love doing this kind of thing. If they've lost the sale or the person's ghosted or whatever's happened, something unexpected, they thought the conversation was going really well, and then suddenly, it just tailed off and never to be seen again. When we go through and we review it, there's always a moment. And there's a moment when, and sometimes there's several, where the person leading, the business owner, their energy, their emotion has allowed to influence the other person in some way. And often it's not necessarily by what you say, people feel it. And so it is a skill to practice this presence. So really, I guess what I'm talking about is presence, being present in the moment. You're not bringing your stuff in, no judgment. Money is a real trigger. This is why sales is so emotive, because obviously it's linked to an exchange of money typically, isn't it? With a service or a product. Money brings up a lot of things for people. Therefore, selling brings up a lot of things for people. And so if you are not working or aware of that stuff, it can just catch you out by surprise. And the person that you're speaking to will have a reaction to that. So cleaning your energy is really important. So having that presence, even just simple things like really shutting down all of your other notifications so that you're not distracted. I often, if I've got a lot on my mind, and often is the case with, being a mum of two girls and all of this other stuff I've got going on, I'll make a list of things that are on my mind so that I can, physically put it to one side. But I also do other things as well, ritualistic things that really help me clean my energy and focus on that person, particularly when I'm doing back-to-back sales calls, which, I could do 9 or 10 in a day at some points within my sales consultancy. So if I didn't get really good at doing this, what could happen, the risk could be that I could bring energy from the previous call into the next one. And that is not going to serve anyone. So I would do things like washing my hands. Water is brilliant, isn't it? It's a really great way to physically wash your hands. I'm not obsessive about it, but just what I'm doing is I'm washing away any energy that isn't mine and just calling back my energy into me. So I would always make time to do that in between calls. And also you mentioned, didn't you, Helen, smells and, certain foods and all of those kind of things. So I've often got some oil burning or a nice candle burning or something to create that sense of, I'm present, I'm relaxed, and I'm open to getting really curious about you. And that is my only focus. And we want to get really clear on where you are now, where you want to get to. Have I got a solution for you? And if I have, can I help you take that bold action in making that happen so that you can make a change?
Whatever you're selling or buying. Seriously. No.
And that's okay because you could say no if you wanted.
I love being told to. You've established this. But honestly, so your version of clean energy, because in my world, in recruitment, and I'm going to change this thanks to you today. I usually say to candidates going in, you need to have that positive mindset, whatever that is. But positive to me is not positive to them necessarily. What I would do is not the same as them. So I'm going to switch out the word positive for clean.
Nice.
Clean energy.
Yeah.
I'm going to change the mindset as well, because that can be a bit. But go in with that clean energy. So, and I do say, make sure you go to the bathroom before, turn up with blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Yeah. Be ready. Be ready. Yeah.
But it's that bit, isn't it? It's not being so focused. We're so conditioned at the moment to focus on the goal. The goal is what you've got to put in your head all the time. And that's what you've got to go for. And yeah, that's true. But if you're so entrenched in that goal, like I need this amount of money in order to cross the end of my month. So I have to sell this product, this service, whatever it is.
Yeah.
That puts a level of desperation, however small. And that's the energy that people feel. That's the tension that you're putting in place. So by removing that tension, giving yourself the time to breathe and relax and take a moment means that you're not as, yes, have a goal, but don't be, it's that strong opinions held lightly.
Yeah.
No, whatever you're holding on to, it can go in a different direction and that's okay. Because at the end of the day, when you're selling, it's not about you. It's about the customer. It's about your client, where they're going. So yeah, I get it.
Yeah. So I would offer change the goal. So the goal for me is
Yes.
to get to a decision. That's the goal. It's
nice.
It's not
because then you've achieved it. If it's a yes, it's a no. The decision's there. Maybe is annoying, but yes or no is.
It maybe can be, but actually you can get really clear on that as well. So the maybe it's a yes, but not right now, or it's a no, but I'm not going to be ready for another couple of months, or it's a not quite right for me, but I know somebody actually who it would be brilliant for. And because they've had such a positive experience, they're going to feel really confident in referring you on or recommending you. I can't tell you the amount of people that have come back to me and said, that is the best sales conversation I've ever had, Lisa. Like, you completely changed the way that I feel about sales, not just in my own business, but me actually engaging in being sold to, because I can feel and see the difference. The maybe that I would say there's more uncovering to be done there, because somebody will know, they'll know. And it's just helping them eke that out so that they can leave that call being really clear.
So the outcome is clarity.
Yeah.
Even if it's a maybe is still clarity in terms of let's have another conversation.
Yeah.
Then.
Let's have a follow-up.
Who else?
The conversation.
Yeah,
exactly. So yeah, it's just putting some boundaries around that, knowing that that is really serving somebody, because when somebody is in a sales conversation, they're never more ready than they are in that moment to make a decision that's going to be right for them. That's my 100% belief. That doesn't mean to say that they may not want to go and reflect or speak to somebody, but they will know in that moment if this feels right for them. Doesn't mean to say they have to go ahead and sign up and pay thousands of pounds there on the spot, but they will know. And so for me, like, changing the goal around, it's not a sale, it's about getting a decision. And also the maybe bit, it's really drilling that down to, okay, well, is it not the right time? Are there some things that need to be put in place? Let's arrange a follow-up conversation so that maybe you do need to go away and do some sums or to move things around. Maybe I need to go and do some work in the background to see what else that I could do to support you in making this happen. So the maybe, we need to put some boundaries around that because it doesn't serve people to have something else in their head. It serves them much better to be clear on yes or no, or it's not quite right for me right now. So let's put some boundaries around that because it does take up headspace. And us as women in particular have more than enough stuff going on. So we don't want that hanging over anybody. That isn't serving, in my humble opinion.
Before we come to our final question, I just want to dig in a little bit to 10, 20 years ago, or school, because what's really interesting, 10, 20 years ago, I'm being gracious, aren't I, to myself as well as to you.
Yes.
'Cause here's the thing, it's the stories we tell ourselves. And in my world, in my family, I've got an older brother and a younger sister. My older brother is the salesman. He is in sales. He crushes it. He is what you would class as he could sell ice to Eskimos, that kind of salesperson.
Yes.
I'm also in sales,
You are.
but in my family, I'm not seen as a he's the salesperson. I'm not. So that's the story that other people tell about us to themselves. Growing up, were you that person in your family? Are you the salesperson? Are you seen as that? Is this just something that you grew up knowing that you were going to be really good at or not? Do you know what I mean?
I do.
Because sales, especially over here in England, I think sales people, if you look at real estate people,
Yeah.
if I told you that I was in not real estate, what do we call them? Estate agents.
Agents, yeah.
Recruiters,
Yeah.
car salespeople, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're just selling for the sake of selling. They're just worried about their own bank balance. In America, real estate, especially high-end real estate, you earn a fortune and you're respected. Recruiters, there's less recruiters in the States than there are in the whole of the UK.
Wow.
Really? And they're respected and they're paid a lot more. Their fees are double what we can charge in the UK. And what was the other ones? Car salespeople. They're probably still salespeople, unless it's high end, right? And then it's all consultative. So going back to, where was I going with that? Oh, you.
Me.
So
Yeah.
going back to family dynamics and your personality, because I can't see you doing anything other than sales, especially now you've shown us a lot more about, giving us that peek behind the curtain.
Yeah.
So were you that person younger?
Yeah.
You were. Okay. That's the answer. Yes. That was the longest question to get to a yes. Okay.
So, I guess for me, I've always been in sales. So like many of us, I'm sure, had a Saturday job in a shop, started with retail. And so I've had a long, I know I don't look it, but a very long career in
you look
sales.
amazing for 70,
Thank you
love.
so much. I was all that skincare that I keep buying from the lady that, just won't leave me alone. I just have to buy it all. So I guess I've been seen as a salesperson because that has been my identity. What's changed for me over the years, because you're right, sales is a dirty word, does not have a good reputation. And I really feel as part of my mission in life is to spread the word that actually sales can be something really wonderful. It does change lives. It saves lives as well. I mean, there's so many examples I could give you where somebody has signed up for, support, whether it's wellness, mental health, whether it's, an opportunity for upskilling in some way that's completely changed their lives. Selling is such an important gift. But I didn't see it as that for so long because of the reputation and also the environment in which I worked. And Helen, I'm sure that you'll resonate with this. I worked in a very male-dominated environment where you were taught to sell in a certain way. And you had to demonstrate that because you were judged on it. And obviously, targets. And that's all tied up in your value and your identity. And so the journey for me since leaving corporate in the last 5 years has been redefining that for me. So that, because I had a revulsion to it. I didn't start selling when I left corporate. I was just like, my gosh, I don't have anything else to do with it. I can just, relax and be myself and just breathe. I haven't got to do all this stuff anymore. But very quickly, opportunities started to appear. And I realized that I had the opportunity then to sell in a way that was defined by me and that would feel good for me and for those people that I was interacting with. And so, yes, I've always been a salesperson, but I stand for a different type of selling experience. And actually, when I reflect and look back, I was always doing that. I just wasn't being upfront and open about it. I was just very good at ticking boxes. So when I needed to show up in a certain way in front of certain people, I would do that. But that wasn't why I was so successful. it was because I was selling in my own way. And at the heart of that is always the conversation, the people, the genuine connection and wanting to help and solve a problem. So yeah, I'm on a mission to redefine sales, one
I
conversation.
love that mission.
Yeah.
I love that mission for sure. I'm kind of on that mission in redefining recruitment because it's the same thing. I don't want people to know that I'm in recruitment, but I need them to know I'm in recruitment.
Yeah. It's like, well, no, but I don't want you to
The
know
minute you switch
everything.
it and own it, and now I'm really proud of how I recruit, just as you're really proud of how you sell, it changes those conversations, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Because it comes across that clean energy of
Yeah.
owning it.
Yeah. But it takes time to get there because you have to get through all of the stuff that you kind of go through before, and you have to, so it's when you get to that point where and I guess it's not, we have mentioned our age a few times today, but when you get to that point and you stop caring quite as much about the things and start thinking a little bit more about what you like to do. Like you said, you always did sales as you wanted to, but perhaps you
Wasn't open
weren't
it. Yeah.
about it
Yeah.
in kind of environments. Whereas now you can actually stand on that as a bit of a soapbox and say, no, this is actually how I do it. This is how I enjoy doing it. Actually, Kirsten, who we spoke to on another podcast, also amazing kind of salesperson, but she was doing it her own way. And it's that thing about you've got to have, I do think to sell, you have to have a level of confidence, and harking back to another podcast, when Jason mentioned conviction, like if you've got a conviction about what you're doing, it makes it so much easier. So I think there's so many different ingredients to that piece that, I think it's really, really interesting. So thank you.
I've just one more question before your killer question.
Yeah, go for it.
How much does it matter? No, how can I rephrase that?
No, scrap that.
Could you sell me anything, Lisa?
Could I sell you anything?
Anything.
If I could uncover a need for it, then yeah. Well, I say that a need, no, a desire. I want to say tickle. I don't know why I want to say that word, but I would kind of, I think, want to explore with you your desire for a thing. And if I genuinely felt that what I've got was going to absolutely tick that massive desire box for you, then yes. But could I sell you anything? Would I want to sell you anything? No, because why would I want to do that? It's to prove a point. That's egotistical, and that is not what I am all about. So if you had a need and a desire, yeah, sure.
And I suppose following on from that, if you were talking to somebody in a conversation and you really felt that, so you've done a really good job, they're really interested, they want to go ahead with what you're doing, but actually you're like, I'm actually not sure this is the right thing for you. Like now we've had this conversation, now we've got to this point, and now actually I think that I've got somebody else that I could probably put you in touch with that would be better. I mean, how do you deal with that kind of?
Yeah,
because that means that you completely disconnected yourself from the outcome of whatever that is.
Yeah, for sure. And there's been many examples of that. More so, I would say, in my corporate career, where I would not hesitate if I felt that a competitor product was better.
Okay.
What I was promoting, that actually built trust so much more than me blabbering on about how brilliant this thing is and trying to make the product fit the problem when it clearly didn't. So I think just by being really authentic and really honest about, is this the best thing for them? Yes. But also I think part of it is trusting the person on the other side of the conversation, that they have the intelligence and they've got the information that they need to make the decision for themselves. And you're facilitating that. So, I mean, yes, there's been instances where there have been flags in the conversation. I think I'm much more mindful when I'm selling for other people. Like, I absolutely want to get this right for them and their business. And so I'm really mindful of only making invitation to those people that I know are a fit. And so that's part of my framing before we even start the sales conversation.
Right.
It's not a given that an invitation is going to be made. It's only if I know that you are an absolute fit, we can help you, we can solve this problem. And then if you're open to exploring that, well, then we can go through all of the details and we can come to a decision together. So yeah, it's not a given that there's going to be an offer every single time. But just to your point earlier, Helen, about positive mindset, I always assume that they're going to be a yes, that they've got on the call because they want to explore a solution. So I can still go in with that approach, but that doesn't mean I'm attached to them saying yes. I'd mention that because we want to assume that this person is a fit. that they are going to be right and that we're going to help them make a change. Absolutely. But we're not attached to that outcome, and the goal is not the sale. So the goal is the decision, but you can still approach it with a positive mindset. But I love the positivity with the clean energy. Perhaps there could be a
Yes,
combination of the two.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. As opposed to negative, dirty energy. We don't want
Yeah,
that.
you don't want that. We don't need dirtiness.
I'm in a place for that kind of energy.
I mean, I think that's really interesting. Assume it's a yes, but without being attached to the yes.
Yeah.
So it's like,
And
Yeah.
there's so many almost, contradictions, like you said, being confident, but often people aren't confident in being able to deliver something for a person when there's so many variables, or maybe they're really new in their business, or maybe it's a new product or a service. You're not going to have that confidence, even if there's some part of you that thinks, I know I can do it and I know this is great, but can I guarantee it? Can I guarantee that person's going to get those results? Can I guarantee that they're going to love it? Because there's so many different variables. But where the uncertainty can come across is where you don't have the confidence in leading a conversation. And what I've noticed over the last 5 years is the importance of leadership in yourself so that you can lead others through a conversation. And it's not a skill that everyone naturally has, but it is a skill and you can learn how to do it.
so just like leadership in yourself. Say more about that.
Well, coming back to the clean energy, coming back to self-awareness, coming back to taking responsibility for the part that you're playing and the role that you have and the responsibility that you have. So, spend time preparing, make sure that you're ready for the call, that you know something about the person, that you have done your homework. Make sure that you're really clear on what your potential solutions are, even if on the spot you're coming up with something bespoke, that's okay. But make sure that you've got some idea of what you could offer them. And also take ownership for the fact that you are leading them to a decision, that you're not just going to end the conversation with, oh, I'm going to think about it. Okay, great. Come back to me when you can. Like, no, that is not you taking responsibility for leading. So that's what I mean. You leading yourself so that you can create the environment for somebody to be open to exploring and being led through a process of making a decision.
One more question before the final question.
Emma,
Okay.
look a bit shocked.
Because it would be wrong of me not to ask you who your ideal client is. Because that's why you're here. Sell yourself, baby.
Well, my ideal clients really are typically women that want to make a change. It's often founder-led businesses, often women that are working solo, and they know that they are so passionate and enthusiastic about the work that they're doing or the product that they've created with, blood, sweat, tears and love going into it. And they just don't understand how to create some excitement, to create some demand for the work that they do, and be able to lead a conversation so that somebody then becomes a paying client or buys from them. So as much as I've said, it's not about the sale, as you said at the beginning, if we don't know how to make sales, we don't have a business. It's the lifeblood of everything that you do. For me, it's the most important skill. And it does encompass lots of different things, yes. But I would say my ideal clients are those women that know that they struggle with confidence around leading a conversation. Maybe they are not sure what to say and when to say it. And I'm not a fan of scripts, but I am a fan of frameworks and having some kind of things to just signpost the points in the conversation before you move on. And for those people that feel that they don't have their things joined up, I guess. They don't understand the strategy of sales, how you lead somebody through that buyer's journey and having the skill to be able to navigate all of the things that we navigate when we're having a conversation. So it's those types of women really that know they've got something amazing, know that they deserve their dreams, and that they want a way of making more money from their business. It's those types of women, because I know that sales are going to be something that they're going to need to focus on. So whether it's strategy, whether it's the skills, whether it's the energetics, the identity, the confidence piece, it's probably a combination of all those three things. But if any one of those things thinking, oh my gosh, yeah, I don't know what to say, I don't know what questions to ask, I feel stressed, I get that tightness in my chest, I come out in a cold sweat, any of those feelings around selling, it could just be part of your sales process when you talk about the investment. For example, I want to offer a discount, or I'd rather just email the price or the investment. I don't want to say it out loud. I don't want to talk it through. If any of those things are coming up, those are my ideal people to work with. Yeah.
Love it.
Nice.
I am going to send this podcast to all of the female founders that I know, because honestly, you are such a breath of fresh air when it comes to talking about sales. You really are brilliant. It is that time. I'm not going to ask any more questions because otherwise
sure?
you're here for 3 hours. I'm not sure. No,
I won't let you think about it. I'll take it.
you go. You go. Quick, ask your question.
So my thing is C words. I think that C words within kind of the founder journey. I know. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, there we go. Yes, that one as well. We haven't had that one come up yet, but all of those kind of C words just seem to come together to do something really big. So I'm asking you for a word that you can that has either driven you through your career, or maybe you'd like to leave it with us, or just something to think about, or is something that you stand on all day long. What would be your C word? And we'll give you a list of the ones we've had, because we've had quite a few now, and Helen's going to have to help me because I think she's got them in front of her.
Okay.
But we've had creativity, we've had commitment, we've had coastal, we've had conviction. Did I say that already? Go on, help me out. Courage.
Curiosity, connection, caring, and consistency.
Yes.
All of them so far.
Okay. I like the coastal one. I mean, obvious one for me is castle, but that's just because
Yes.
I love history. The one, seriously, I mean, you could have that one, but the one for me that I think is the crux of everything that I'm passionate about and that I talk about all day long is the power of conversation.
Oh,
Conversation for me, and that's what I'm all about, mastering the conversation. Can you start a conversation? Can you lead a conversation? Can you come at a conversation with that clean energy? Conversations lead to clients. Conversations lead to opportunity. Conversations are about connection. And for me, that is selling. Can you have a conversation with somebody? And that's it.
Brilliant.
It's really simple. Really simple.
bravo, that woman. Whatever you're saying. Brilliant. Lisa, you're a star. Thank you so much.
You're very
And we
welcome.
could talk forever about sales. And
Yeah.
no doubt we will do next time we get together.
Yes, and thank you so
Amazing.
much for having me. I've loved spending time with you. And for anyone, if I may, if anyone would love some help in knowing how to start conversations with the right people. So what I love to help my clients with is activate their audience, because your next client, you already know, just haven't activated them yet. So I've got a free resource. It's called my 7-day sales activator. So I'll share the link with you. It's free to
Brilliant.
download. But I can guarantee, as much as you can guarantee anything in this life, that you will be able to book at least 3 sales conversations from the activities. They're super simple. Anyone can do them. But if you do it, you will get some sales calls booked into your calendar. There's some tips and some help and support in there as well to help you lead the conversation as well. So yeah, I would love to share
Brilliant.
with you.
Are you
Thank
up for doing
you.
the 7 days?
Yeah, I'll be signing up.
Yeah, okay. We'll do it next week together.
Yeah.
Great.
Lisa, you're a star. Brilliant guest. Loved it. We will share this as widely as we possibly can. I know you will as well, because you're in sales. That's what you do. Activate your audience with this podcast.
I will. Thank you so much. Lovely to see you both.
Brilliant.
Thank you so much.
3 founders walk into the podcast where you never know where you'll end up.
How good was she?
She was so good.
I wish I'd had a sales trainer or
Yes.
someone leading me through the sales process donkeys years ago, when I was telling myself, I'm not very good at sales. And I still tell myself that now.
Yeah. And it's so funny, isn't it? I know that I'm okay at it for other people, and I think that's the other bit, isn't it? For doing it for other people all day long, I can shout your name to the rooftops. For myself, a little bit dubious, slightly suspect. But yeah, really, really interesting. I think.
So are we up for taking that challenge, the 7-day sales activator? We'll do that together.
Yeah.
We'll both
Yeah.
do it
Yes,
same time, 7 days. Let's see.
absolutely. And we can finish off at the Kitchen Garden at Berkeley Castle, which is a lovely little restaurant that I know very well. And we can go and I'll see if I can rustle somebody up to take us round.
Yes, please. We definitely need to have a castle at the end of that for sure. Amazing. Yes. Fantastic. And I had to ask her who her ideal client was. And then I love the fact that she was selling at the end.
Yes. Yeah.
Brilliant. Really
And
good.
just so comfortably and beautifully, and not icky at all, and not performative. Just, this is who I am and this is what I'm really good at, and take it or leave it. That's what I like. That's exactly the kind of, that's what you got to get across. It's that take it or leave it.
Having confidence in that for sure. Yeah.
Confidence and conviction.
Yeah.
Like that conviction word, it just keeps coming back.
And it's just a conversation.
How hard is a conversation?
Which weirdly is what I tell candidates when they go into an interview. And
Yeah.
I've written so many blogs about it. I've talked about it so much around, yes, it's an interview, but actually it's a conversation.
Mm.
The interview is the outcome, is not that you're going to get a job, is that you're going to get another conversation.
But also the whole thing about recruitment and that piece is it's a conversation for you as much as it's about them.
Absolutely.
It's not about you selling yourself to this company. It's about them selling themselves to you. And if they're not doing that very well,
Exactly.
and you don't feel like maybe you want to work there, even though you really need a job, like you got to make a decision at a point. And how you're going to, it's all the. I think recruitment is a big amount of selling anyway.
Yes.
Interesting. It was really good. I really enjoyed that.
She's a good egg. And I've spent an evening with her. We went to a sip and paint.
You did it with Jess Knights, didn't you?
We did. Yes, absolutely.
I'm so bummed I missed that. I'll have to do it again.
There'll be plenty. Let's do another one. Let's do one.
Yeah.
Jess was brilliant at guiding us through. Jess was a previous guest. Second
guest.
Second
First
guest.
was Rachel.
That's right. That's right. And we ended up having dinner afterwards at an Italian next door. And I mean, she's just so interesting. Seriously, I would buy anything she's selling. I trust her just because she brings you into her world.
Yeah.
Or you, yeah.
Yes.
Brilliant conversationalist. Fantastic. And that's all sales is at the end of the day. Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And I think we, as a society, I think we're losing the art a little bit of conversation because we're spending so much time texting, so much time, on not in a conversational environment and not in those, people don't like phone calls anymore. I love a phone call. I mean, not a sales phone call, but funnily enough, from the, that's all gone wrong.
You don't want someone to call and ask them if you want a new phone or different insurance or different gas or electricity.
Yeah.
Don't call Emma about those things.
No,
if you're selling castles, on the other hand, or an experience in the castle.
Absolutely.
I think, earlier, before we started recording, we were talking about the fact, I haven't seen you in ages. Yeah, we haven't seen and we haven't chatted. We haven't had a conversation. We've had moments of text on a WhatsApp.
Yes.
That's
It's
not the same as conversations. Yeah.
So Sunday night, I had a 2-hour conversation with a friend of mine on a video, and it was just so, when you did it when you were at school and you saw your friends all day and you came home and spent 3 hours on the phone straight away. And I just love those conversations and keeping those it's all that stuff that she said. Perfect.
Absolutely. And I love the fact she said it could be castle.
Yeah.
Word. It's like, really? And then she said, no, conversation. Fantastic.
I actually wondered if she was going to go with confidence, because she said it quite a few times in the last little bit. But I think conversation's a really good one. C words are the best.
I need to go and sell. I'm in selling mode now.
Okay. Cool.
I'm in conversation mode where the outcome isn't necessarily a sale. It's just clarity over next steps.
Yes.
I'm going to go and do that. It's my guest again next time round because we kind of front loaded the series with yours.
Yes.
So do I think you'll like them?
Nah, not this time.
No, I think you'll find I think you'll find them very interesting, very different to Lisa. Yeah, pretty unique person. Yeah, looking forward to it. We will see you next time round. Oh, subscribe, do all that jazzy stuff. Isn't that what we're meant to say?
If you want to hear more of us wittering on, please do like, comment and share with all of your founder friends.
You're such the adult in the room. I'm just the idiot that just goes along for the ride. We will catch you next time round on Three Founders Walk Into a...
New episodes every Friday.